Hey YouTube, we are going to look at some early risers and fallers in the GBL based on the move updates. And much like I said yesterday, I was 1,000,000% right. The meta is very, very, very similar to last season with a few upgrades, which I went over yesterday with the Pokemon that got buffed with these certain movesets. But otherwise, like there wasn't enough change. Like a couple waters increased, couple Pokemon because of the weakness to water like went down like one or two. But that's basically it. And so it leaves me. I know everyone's like, you're always so disinterested and Debbie Downer in these videos. I'm like, I'm telling you like it is. And unfortunately, from my perspective, like I said, the Great League meta was very very stale. The Great League meta was, Whiscash, with Skarmory plus a third, usually Annihilate or something, and not that's not going to really change the season because as you can see right here, if you look at the top 10, what's changed? So, in terms of the top 10 changing, there is, I wonder if I can make this a little smaller so you can see more. Okay, top 10, here we go. Um, in terms of the top 10 changing, you basically, Crest went from 2 to 1, and Lickitung went from 1 to 2. And Gligar went from 3 to 4, and Registeel went from 4 to 3. So it's just like very inconsequential change. Registeel goes up 1 because of there's so many more waters, right? If a bunch of waters got buffed, Araquanid, Feraligatr, stuff like that, like Zapcan, Reggie, hello, right? But otherwise, Swampert, Skarmory the same. Feraligatr. Let's talk about Feraligatr because it's an obvious one. Um, Feraligatr will know Shadow Claw. And if you look at the stat product here, it was basically running Waterfall before, which was a very, very heavy. Actually, before we get that, let's look at the stat products. So 123 attack, 117 defense, 124 stamina for 1804, right? So why it was not that strong before was I said, if you're gonna have less than a 2,000 overall stat product in the Great League, you better come with great movesets. And unfortunately, it did not have a great moveset. It had a Waterfall, which was a heavy hitting move, but very, very slow, 2.67 on the energy, which is very slow. In terms of charge move, it has one of the best in the game, Hydro Cannon, right? So Hydro Cannon is a beast of a move, 40 energy, 115.2 damage when you add the stab, same type attack bonus attack there. Your second move, not bad, not amazing, right? You had Ice Beam or Crunch, both pretty somewhat quick move, 45 and 55, 1.87, 1.96. So like again, decent moves, but not like ones that are like super amazing, but not super bad either. So it was kind of like manageable. But again, when you had a not amazing fast move with one great charge move and a second meh charge move, it made it difficult to run. Hello, Shadow Claw, which yes, you give up some damage on Shadow Claw, but in terms of the damage and energy combo, it's one of the best fast moves in the game because you get good damage and great energy. So now you're getting 4 energy per turn, and suddenly, so one Shadow Claw is 8 energy. So now hello, 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 5 claws, you are at a Hydro Cannon, and 6, you are at a Crunch, right? So you basically become like a Swampert. A little slower because it's still just 5x5, but the trade-off is Swampert can spam more, but you're getting a lot of damage with the Shadow Claw, right? So with that damage on Shadow Claw and with getting to the Hydro, and then with that 18, like stat products is 1800 is comparable to Swampert. Right? Swampert's at 1800, almost identical. So you are looking at a huge increase in this Pokemon. Shadow version at 9, regular at 16. Again, I haven't used either of them yet. So Ice Beam is the second move. I don't know about that. I think you probably want Crunch as your second move. I can't think of a scenario when you'd like, I can think of a scenario when you don't want Hydro and Ice Beam on, like when you're against like water Pokemon, like pure water Pokemon. I really don't want Hydro Cannon and Ice Beam on because I have nothing to throw. I'd rather have the Crunch for coverage. So I'm not sure why they recommend that. I'm sure it's in the Sims why they recommend that, but for me, I'd probably go Crunch. Lantern, again, what's old is Lantern got to kick up again because there's so many waters. So now you're going to have Lantern and Skarmory's there. So you're going to have Lantern more, right? So what this has not taken into consideration yet is Water Pulse buff, right? It's still at that 55 energy for 96 damage. we know that this is going to get buffed here. So I think with Mantine, it's probably going to be even better. Like I would maybe probably put it above Mandibuzz. But again, with Mantine, Lantern should be everywhere. So I think Lantern's going to be on the rise. Early riser, probably Feraligatr for sure. Lantern, probably the same, right? I think Lantern's going to rise a bit. Mantine, I think you're going to get that move update here. It's going to come in soon. But then it's the same meta. Whiscash, Bastiodon, Quagsire, Annihilate, Azumarill, Guzzlord. There is your Empoleon Steelwing. So let's talk about Steelwing Empoleon. This is the second one that I said should get buffed, should move up the rankings, and here it is at 21. And not surprising, you are again trading off a hard-hitting move for a decently hard-hitting move, 5.76 versus 5.04. But the energy generation moved from 2.67 to 3.5. So a way faster energy generating move. And again, hello, your two moves that you run on this Pokemon are both 40 energy moves. Hydro Cannon is just like the best one. And then if you need something for grass, you have the super effective Drill Peck. So now you're getting 7 energy per Steel Wing. So 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42. So now it just takes 6 Steel Wings to get to a move, which it's a 2-turn move as opposed to Waterfall, which is a 3-turn move. So you're getting better energy in the 2-turn move. You're getting a 2 versus 3-turn move, which is better just to have the, again, I've gone over in the video why 1 and 2-turn moves are easier for fast move optimization, stuff like that. So now you are getting to it in what is essentially 12, right? 6 times 2 is 12, as opposed to the 5, what it takes to get to Waterfall. 5 times 3 is 15. So you're getting to it quicker turn-wise than you would Waterfall, and which obviously is because of the energy, you give a little bit of damage. So with, again, not a great stat product, below the 2000, got a great charge move. Got a great fast move, has good charge moves. And what makes Empoleon so good is the typing, right? Weak to electric, fighting, and ground, which there is a ton of all 3 of those in the Great League meta. So that is unfortunate. But if it's a pure ground, you're also doing super effective with water. So that's kind of a wash there. But the resistances, double resist, steel, poison, ice, and then single resist, water, rock, psychic, normal, flying, fairy, dragon, and bug, which is just great. And then having that, like, instead of why having a steel move also kind of helps is if you go against a Pokemon which like resists the Hydro Cannon anyways, if you had like a water fast move, it just kind of makes it like you're just like double screwed kind of. So having like a Steel Wing, Hydro Cannon, and Drill Peck kind of gives you coverage for everything. So yeah, should be an improvement. Still, I think ranked a bit lower than Swampert and Feraligatr because it's even glassier, right? 1778. Higher attack, lower defense, so pretty glassy, especially with all these like XL Pokemon in the Great League. Something on this list that jumped up is Goodra. So Goodra is a dragon, pure dragon. Yep, just pure dragon. So the question is, like, how does this compare to something like Dragonair, which was like pretty much the best one? So 119, 136, 114, 1867, where Dragonair was 1775, so slightly lower. So good, decent. I mean, not a good stat product, but like, decent stat product. 1867, you have the Dragon Breath damage, which again, same throughout. So you have a slightly better stat product than Dragonair with a better Dragon Breath. You're now given that Aqua Tail, which gives you the exact same coverage, right? You only had Muddy Water before, which was a 35 for 35, which is terrible. But now you get that Aqua Tail, which is 35 for 55. Very, very spammy. You get the sort of same spam move as Dragonair. And then it's just your secondary move. So where Dragonair is still good with the Body Slam, your secondary move is still like a 50 energy Power Whip or going for like a nuke with the Draco Meteor. Because of that, So they're saying Power Whip, which makes sense. Um, Especially with all the waters, having a super effective Power Whip is great. The only sort of problem with that is why Dragonair so strong is it's pretty glassy. You use the Shadow Dragon Breath bonus most of the time, and you're doing hard hitting Dragon Breath damage with like a spammy Aqua Tail or Body Slam. Where Goodra kind of, and I'm I get why it's a little higher because it's got a better stat product, but that secondary move is really gonna hurt because you essentially need to, whereas you're gonna get to the Body Slam and Aqua Tail at the same time on Dragonair, with a 3-turn move, it'll be 36, so 39, 42, 45, 48, 51. You're gonna need an extra 5 Dragon Breaths to get to the Power Whip. So it's gonna feel, again, you have more bulk, you have a bit more bulk, so you're maybe gonna be able to feel like you can stand longer. I don't know. This is one I'm interested to test out to see how it feels versus Dragonair. But definitely another option for Dragon. And then Gallade with Psycho Cut. This is one that I also said should go up because Gallade just suffered because it was so glassy, right? Sorry, that's the. It just suffered because it was so glassy. Super, super, super high attack, 137, but the defense and stamina is pathetic. So it just got deleted. And you were using Confusion, which was a great damage move, but just slow on the energy. And like I said, Leaf Blade is a nice 2.4 damage for energy, very, very quick 2.4 damage for energy. And then you have your Nuke Close Combat at 3.2 damage with a quick energy too. So having two really, really, really hard hitting moves on an attack heavy Pokemon that you couldn't get to with Confusion made it kind of useless. Now you have Psycho Cut, and Psycho Cut ups the terrible damage, but you're not using Psycho Cut for damage. You're using it for the energy generation at 4.5 energy per turn. So you are going to get to those moves so quick. It only take 4 Psycho Cuts to get to a Leaf Blade and 5 to get to a close combat. So if you get 5 Psycho Cuts to get to a nuke of a close combat, that is on a nuke 144 damage on an attack heavy Pokemon. That is huge. So huge increase. Psychic Fighting, kind of unique typing. You're weak to Ghost, Flying, and Fairy, and resist Fighting and Rock, right? So you kind of like neutralize a lot with the Fighting Psychic, like Dark. You neutralize that Dark weakness on Psychic with the Fighting resisted. So it's a really interesting Pokemon. I think it's going to have more play in Ultra League, and we'll check that in a minute, but up to 22 in Great League. It's a huge improvement there. But then again, Poliwrath, Pelipper, Superior, Vigoroth, Clodsire, Abomasnow, Zweilous, Dragonair, Machamp. That's basically the changes, right? And this is kind of what we already knew was going to happen. I guess Hippowdon is at 52 here. Speculative Sand Attack. They speculative because we don't have the stats for it yet. So they put it in as like a clone, probably a clone of something. Fast energy generation, low. It's basically a Mudshot clone. So they put in kind of, is it a Mudshot clone? Or is it a, it's a 1-turn fast move. So it's not, so I don't even know what they use that, but it's a speculative move with a Rock, Weather Ball, and Scorching Sands. So if you get a very, very fast energy generating move, getting to a stab, Scorching Sands, and a pretty decent damage per energy Weather Ball with decent, like 1913, like decent attack, decent defense, good stamina, like potential for there. But again, when there's like 20 waters in the top 50, it just, it's a little trickier. Like, hello, Whiscaster, Azumarill, Skarmory, Cresselia, can you say the top meta right there? So again, yeah, I'll test it out, Hippowdon. I'll test it out, but we'll see. I'm less into that one. And that's it. So not a lot of changes in the Great League. What does this mean early? So let's just say these Pokemon are truly that much better, and they are meta to stay. Feraligatr, Empoleon, and Gallade. Like, not surprising, Lickitung jumps up. I'm sorry, Cresselia jumps up because it has the Psychic for the like Psychic to resist everything on Gallade except for the Grass Knots, but like or Leaf Blade, and then Grass Knot for the waters. So Cresselia up a little bit, Registeel with the Zap Cannon up a little bit because you can just Zap Cannon a lot of things here. You're not seeing a huge increase in grass, which is where is Araquanid? Does it not have its move yet? Okay, so that's why this has not been it's not been fully updated yet because they haven't put in Water Pulse, the changes yet. So Araquanid will also jump up with Water Pulse, and that's why I kind of mentioned on Mantine that Mantine's underranked because it's not hasn't been bumped up with Water Pulse yet, and neither has this. So once this thing gets Water Pulse, this will jump up, which again is just another water jumping up. With so many waters, you think there would be more grass around. But there's probably more dragons around too, right? Guzzlords are there. Goodra's now there. Dragonair is always so strong. So it's looking very, very similar to the last season meta. A lot of waters. Dragons to offset those waters. Strong meta Pokemon that are always strong. Pairing Whiscash with Skarmory is still fine. Yeah, so we'll see how much it changes. Like, I've got to imagine just based on this ranking and based on like how I looked at it yesterday, it's not surprising that you're not seeing a lot of changes to the Great League meta. Is that the same in Ultra League? Wow, Feraligatr right up there at number 2 now, Shadow, and number 5 non-Shadow. Again, getting Shadow Claw is one of the best moves in the game, right? So when you put one of the best moves on the game with a decent stat product Pokemon that also has access to one of the best charge moves in the game, it becomes meta. Like, there's no two ways about this. Feraligatr will be meta in both Great League and Ultra League because it has one of the best fast moves in the game, good stat product, and the Hydro Cannon, one of the best charge moves in the game. Very, very straightforward. So if you don't have one, build one. I think this is worth an Elite TM because I do think that Feraligatr in Great League and Ultra League will be a staple moving forward. Especially like having that water typing, just being able to resist Poliwrath, everything, right? If Poliwrath still ranked number 3 here, but as a water Pokemon, you take neutral for the counters, but resist Icy Wind and Scald. So Feraligatr, if you don't have one, build one. I think it's worth an Elite TM if you have those lying around. Pidgeot seems to be a little higher, and I think that is because Giratina was always up here, but now, yes, it has Ice Beam here, but it also has Shadow Claw, which you double resist. So between that and just like the Poliwrath and the uptick in fighters generally, Pidgeot a little bit higher, not surprising. Crest always on the top there. There's your Empoleon. So Empoleon becoming, it was like one of the best Pokemon for Great League, for Ultra League back in the day, like Season 1, Season 2, with the Steel Wing buff. Same concept. Buffed the energy. Now you get a quicker Hydro Cannon. So not surprising that it's higher. But other than those two, it's the same. Like there's your Gallade again. There's Staraptor, but it's still running Wing Attack. I was wondering the other move that it was getting. I guess they haven't updated that yet. Oh yeah, speculative. We'll see about that. That's Staraptor's potential there. But otherwise, it is truly just the way I would look at it. Master League, I don't think anything's going to change except for now these origin forms. Yeah, so we don't need to worry about Master League. The way I would look at it for Great League and Ultra League is that it is essentially the same meta as the last season, but you just added 3 to 4 more meta Pokemon. Right? That's essentially it. Same meta. You add 3 or 4 more Pokemon. Maybe some things jump up a little, some things jump down a little. There's nothing. I was going to say, there's nothing that for me would jump down. But if you have an Empoleon, I was going to say ground would jump down because of all the waters, but Empoleon is half steel. And And if you use something like ground poison like Clodsire, you'll resist the close combat on Gallade. So I don't think that you're going to see a decrease in ground as much as you think you would, especially that half all the grounds are half water, a lot of mud boys, right? Um, I think Gligar just has such good coverage and so safe. So I don't think you're going to see a huge decrease in ground despite the uptick in water. So I do truly think that it's going to be Pokemon up and down 1 or 2 spots, a little more lanterns with all the waters, and then a little more dragons with Goodra and others, but basically the same meta, just with a couple more meta Pokemon added in. So what does that mean for GBL, and how do I feel about that? We'll see. I think more options is better, right? Something like Feraligatr, not that it's a complete core breaker to Skarmory or anything, but you have something like Feraligatr which can deal with Whiscash and Skarmory, right? Because you resist the Scald, and then you resist the Steel Wing. So Feraligatr instantly becomes kind of like a quasi, like a little bit of core breaker to that right there. So that is a positive, right? That'll shake up the meta a little bit more. But again, I don't think it'll shake it up a ton. So my plan is, we'll do a Beyond the Hype of basically those 5 Pokemon this week is my goal. I think, again, Mantine I think is going to get better too. So I'm going to say I'll do Beyond the Hype of Feraligatr, Mantine with its new moves, Goodra, Gallade, and Empoleon for sure. Like those 5 are guaranteed that I will do a Beyond the Hype for. Because I think they're all very, very going to be decently strong. But I do want to feel how they play. So that is my goal for this week. And then I forget. I think it's just, yeah, it's Great League and Electric Cup. No one's going to play Electric Cup, so we're just going to play Great League. We're going to test these Pokemon out and go from there. First week, I may, again, League Tournament was on Friday, so I'll probably just do like one Saturday, because it's my daughter's birthday on Friday too, and I got family coming in, so I'll probably just do like one Saturday, one Sunday, and maybe you'll double up like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We'll see. But yeah, test all these Pokemon out, give you analysis of the meta, and that's basically it. So that's it. Let me know your thoughts on the Great League and Ultra League. Like I said, it looks like the Great League and Ultra League last season with a couple more meta Pokemon built in. And here comes the rainstorm. So anyways, that's it. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one.